Making sure that they have stuff that's kind of heavy and rugged. They know that it's going to go through a lot. And the coolest app, and I think this was said at the apps one, they have it on iOS, but they have another version of it for Android as well. It's just like a sign and send type app where if you get a document from a client or you can open it up, sign it with your finger, repackage it as a PDF, and then email it back to the person without having to print it. It allows for completely green and waste reduction.
The Galaxy Tab is Android 3.1, which is awesome, just like the Xoom. The best feature of the tablet is that it's the thinnest tablet on the market. It's thinner than the iPad 2. Well, one of my favorite apps is Words with Friends. They just came out with a tablet version, so that's kind of cool. But to be honest, most of the Android apps that are in the market, even though they're not tablet versions, work just fine on the Android larger tablets. They kind of scale with the screen versus on the iPad they're kind of windowed. If it's a phone version, it doesn't really show the full version, so that's kind of a bonus. But there are 100,000 apps in the App Store for iPad versus about 100 apps for Android, so tablet specific.
I'm sort of tablet agnostic. I'm not really like super pro iPad necessarily over anything else. And as a tech writer, I'm finding friends that are playing with tablets, from RIM, from HP, all the Android tablets, and all the hardware. The hardware of all these tablets is fine. So when you talk about hardware, all the tablets are pretty similar, but it's really all about the apps. And that's where the iPad has what may be an insurmountable advantage. I mean, there's just a gazillion wonderful apps. I made a short list of all my favorite iPad apps here, and I don't have time to go through the whole list. See me afterwards. But it's just the apps. It's just, as I said, it's all about the apps, and that's what really sets the iPad apart. And my whole thing is productivity on this device, and the productivity experience on the iPad is just getting better and better. It's partly to do with some accessories that I brought, but it's, again, mainly about the apps. Just to give you one example, there's an app called Elements, which lets you write in plain text. Continually syncs to the cloud, via Dropbox. You can sort of pick up where you left off on an iPhone. You can continue working on your Mac or PC, and it's just kind of a seamless experience. And that's what I run into time and time again. It's really all about the apps.
The Playbook, I don't mind pointing it. I've got a screen protector on it, and I'll just throw it in my laptop case. And it's very light, and it's still very easy to use. It has almost the same resolution as the iPad 2. It's 1024 by 600, so you get almost as much real estate, but on a smaller screen. So if you find the type of the iPad too small, then this might be a little bit too small for you. Let's see, and the favorite app would probably be the browser, just because it's one of the most compliant browsers as far as web standards and supports Flash. So I find that while browsing around, it isn't as good as a desktop computer experience, because sometimes the links are a little small, but overall, all the content that I've viewed has rendered. And I think the only thing that it has some trouble with is light boxes. Never seems to want to display them correctly, and then when you tap into the text-fillable light box, sometimes the keyboard will pop up over them. But outside of the light box experience, the web browser has been a great app.
Sort of going to one extreme, going to the other extreme, and this is all gonna shake out eventually. But we're at a very uncomfortable period of time where companies are just kind of experimenting with UIs in ways that are not. They just haven't quite figured it out yet, and Netflix is a good example of that.
Right. So I think that the biggest thing as far as apps are concerned is making sure that The person directing the app is the person who's going to be using the app.